Well, President-elect Donald Trump now planning on perhaps revamping top U.S. intel agencies once he enters the Oval Office. This move comes after Trump has publicly dismissed our spy agency's assessment of the Russian hacking. So what would it take to restructure these agencies? Here to weigh in is Fox News contributor Gillian Turner, who worked in the White House Security Council under Presidents Bush and Obama, and now she works for us. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Steve.
Okay, so what the stories are today, it sounds like Donald Trump is saying, look, some of these agencies had become politicized and they're way too bloated. Let's slim them down. You got a problem with that?
Well, there's always room for improvement, right? Streamlining is always a good thing, especially with government.
Right.
But my caution here is that I think it's a little bit early to decide how you want to tear everything down before he's gotten in there and really worked with folks, meaning have some of the agencies, or at least the top tier at the agencies, become politicized? Probably.
Yeah.
But I think that working with these folks for a while, President-elect Trump would come to see that the vast majority of them are really great Americans, civil servants who are doing this for their career. They protect our nation for a living.
But you go back, what was it, about a month ago, John Brennan, the guy who runs the CIA, came out and said, okay, the CIA is investigated and we are sure that the Russians hacked into the DNC to help Donald Trump. And then you got the FBI, and then you've got the DNI, Mr. Clapper, coming out and saying, we don't think so. So it does look political.
Well, and the American public got a little kind of glimpse behind the curtain there on that one. You know, it's historically the intelligence agencies are always jockeying for position and power. That was part of the reason why the ODNI, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, was created in the first place, to try and they were going to come onto the scene, be the top dog, and they were going to coordinate what all the other agencies were doing. They've had some successes, some not successes, so there's obviously room for improvement. But
you know, and Donald Trump is a businessman, and you know he's coming in, he's going to run this new big thing. And if you look at, I think it was about 10 years, no, it was in 2010, the Obama administration was actually talking about slimming down the intel agencies because they said, look, they've gotten so bloated, this is way too big. And so he's just, you know, for some people, look at it, they might just say, well, that's a good businessman running a more streamlined operation.
Yeah, but you do have to make sure you're cutting out the right things. So one of the sound bites I've been hearing this morning is that President-elect Trump is saying what he wants to do is get rid of a lot of the folks working in the intelligence community in Virginia and put more operatives out in the field.
Well, why not? That kind of makes sense.
It sounds good, but the reality is that we already have more intelligence than we could ever from various intelligence streams, geospatial intelligence, human intelligence. We need better analysis capabilities, not more information, and that's what you get when you send more guys out into the field. Well,
but that's kind of like, okay, they've got 100 guys in the police station, but only 10 guys walking the beat.
Yeah, but sometimes, right? I mean, the analogy with law enforcement is there is some overlap, but not entirely. So I get what you're saying. This is different, though. We already are inundated with information that we'll never get to, so we need better data analysis.
Sure. Absolutely, but we just don't need the data politicized.
Right.
That's bad. All right, Gillian, thank you very much.
Thanks.